Hi everyone, welcome back to another little painting demo today. Just want to start off by thanking everyone very much for all their lovely comments they've been making on my channel, and if I have missed anybody out in replying, I'm ever so sorry about that, but I do my best to cover everyone within a couple of weeks of the comment being left. Sometimes, usually it's within a couple of days, but depending on my work pattern and stuff like that. But just thank you very much for all the lovely comments that people have left. It's really encouraging to me. Today we're going to be looking at this little fishing village scene. It's in Mevagissey, Cornwall, and I'm going to be going back to the hot press paper again today because I'm really enjoying that, and a lot of people have said how it's livened my paintings and kind of injected sort of more life into them, and I tend to agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree. I'm really kind of like trying to inject more colour into my paintings because I felt for a period I was going very sort of brown and very sort of neutral and down in sort of it just weren't working really the way I wanted it to. So, but the hot press paper, I really like the way it reacts with the paint and the little brush marks you get left in it. It's a very, it's a fun surface to paint on. I'd recommend anybody giving it a go. Anyway, today we're going to focus on this Mevagissey scene. I'm going to be painting it really, really loosely. It's going to be, you know, I want to get quite a sort of shimmery, impressionistic look to it. I want to get the reflections in and stuff like that. You can see the image just here somewhere, and you can kind of make your own mind up about it. But it's one other thing before I go. Anybody sort of in the learning stage of watercolour, or they want to sort of progress their watercolour, come along to Pure Watercolour, my website. It's completely free to sign up. It's not the busiest site in the world, but the more people that come along and start interacting, the better it'll be for everyone. We have regular posters there, and people always sort of come back with encouraging comments on work that you'll have posted if you come along. And it's it's just a good positive place to be. You do have to sign up with an email address. There is a membership, but it's completely free. There's no charge associated with it. So let's get on with the painting then, and we'll see how we get on today. Okay, then I've drawn the scene out. Started off by drawing it out. Didn't video it this time, but if it's something you're interested in, I can include it sometimes in the videos if you want. Very loosely sketched with just I think it was a 2B pencil. Just getting the rough outline, especially with the buildings in the background. I spent a little bit more time on the boat in the foreground, but the background buildings were just very, very mild impressions, slight impressions of the there's no real accuracy there, to be honest, as you can probably see if you compare to the picture. Now what I'm looking at doing now is painting in the brightest colours. It's the same format as other paintings I've done, really. Just painting in the brightest colours. It always helps me to get those down first, because you can then preserve those colours from getting too blacked out or overworked, whatever. You want to keep them nice and fresh. I'm just using my little brush. I said it was a goat hair brush. I still think it's a goat hair brush. That's what I was told. But it's a fantastic brush. I've had it years and I use it all the time. It's just basically a Chinese brush. It's getting a bit worn on the head now. Need to replace it, but fantastic little brush. And I've just used basically in the buildings there. I've just used raw sienna, and a touch of blue with a touch of red, just to make various greys and different colours. And just started to sort of build up the colours there. Well, I'm kind of working almost sort of from top downwards. The sky, because there's only a little bit of sky there, I don't want to make things look too busy, so I'm literally just going to block it in blue and make a nice, just very simple blue sky. Because if you make it too, the rest of the painting is quite busy. You don't want a busy sky too. So that's my favourite colour, as many know, cerulean blue. My go-to colour for skies, that is. Okay, so I've added some darks in here, started to put the wall in, and for that I've just used burnt sienna and cobalt blue, and various mixes of that. I also mix a little pool of cobalt blue and magenta, that sort of colour, and I can often drop that into the wash. So as you can see, just on the left hand side there, I added some blue into the wash just to make it, just brushed it in when the wash was wet, just to make the wash look more interesting, more varied. Just popping all the windows in. Again, I'm not thinking about it too much. I'm not sort of just literally just indicating little black spots for the windows. Nothing much more than that. Pointing something out there, but I don't know what it was. Yeah, there's a few things I would have done differently on this painting. When it's funny, it's interesting doing the narration after you finish painting it. You look at it and you think to yourself, "Oh, I would have done that differently." If you narrate while you're painting, sometimes it's hard to be kind of objective about it. But the mistakes become more glaringly obvious when you do the narrating later on. And this is just the wall that leads down to the water's edge, the quay wall. And again, I'm purposely leaving little bits of white paper behind here and there, just to sort of I'll make sure I don't paint where the boats are going to be and stuff like that. So once you've done your drawing, really, it's a bit like painting by numbers. It's not much more than that, really. Just in case some of you don't know, I'm painting on the Saunders Waterford £140 £140 hot press paper. Fantastic paper it is. I'm really enjoying painting on it, and I would say it's easier to paint on than the what I was using previously, and that was the Arche £140 knot surface. So it had a slightly rougher texture to it, or tooth to it. Now with the £140 you can do fantastic, the Arche £140 knot surface, you can do fantastic things with that. You know, the tooth of the paper gives you the ability to create that sparkle on the water and do all sorts of wonderful things. So, you know, I'm not knocking it at all. It's just that for some reason I was going for a bad patch with it, and I just felt that I needed a change. So I went for the hot pressed, and this is £140 hot pressed, which is a very smooth surface, which I think could possibly be better suited to beginners in many ways. I think it's a great paper. It's quite forgiving. I like the way colours melt together on it and blend. I seem to be able to retain my darks easier on this paper as well for some reason. Now this could all just be just, you know, in my mind really, and it is no different. It's just that sometimes you have that change, don't you, and things feel, you know, a lot better. But anyway, you know, I'm really enjoying painting on it, and you know, I hope to really develop the painting in a way which they're just looking different. I want to focus on colour. I was a bit concerned when I was doing this painting. I just felt that I was getting back into, you know, going down my old route again. But when I saw the finished thing, I was quite pleased. So I'm just adding some blue here now, just painting around the shadows of the boat. The reflections of the boats. And as I go to the right, I'm making it slightly bluer where the sky is. But I wanted that quite intense and quite a nice watery look. And I was just so enjoying painting on this, the way it sort of flows on the paper. You know, I've had a couple of revelations really recently with my painting. One is using the cotton watercolour paints, which I'm really enjoying again, and I don't have any problem with. And the other is now finding this hot press paper and painting on that. I see I obviously wasn't adventurous enough before, but now I'm starting to spread my wings a bit with it, and a lot of this is down to you, the viewers. You know, suggestions that you all make. It really helps me sort of move things on and do different things. So I appreciate that too. So I was quite pleased when the water was in. Now I'm going to be painting the boat. So yeah, I'm just painting the boat and just putting the lightest tones of colour in, tints of colour in now. The bit when I was painting this bit of it was like a fishing where they store the nets on the boats. I was really annoyed with myself actually because I wanted that to be a lot brighter. But what I did, I actually ended up putting contaminated paint. So the paint I was putting on there had been contaminated with another colour, and it absolutely killed that little spot for me. So that's something to really bear in mind when you're painting. Don't be too sort of hasty painting areas. You know, make sure you clean your palette more. You know, and make sure you've got clean paint to put on. It really did knock that back, and I wanted that to be really bright because I don't know. I wanted it to because I wanted to put a shadow on the other side, but I haven't bothered now because it's so dull the colour itself. I don't really think it's going to make much difference if I do that. So I just left it as it is. I didn't want to touch it anymore. This part of the book it was kind of looks almost black in the photograph, but obviously I don't want to use lamp black or anything like that. Works well for some, but not for me. I mixed burnt sienna and cobalt blue, and I got this lovely blue-black, really dark colour. And I dropped a bit in places. I'd add a little bit more cobalt blue, just so I got a nice bluey tinge to it. And so it shifted around a bit. It wasn't all the same colour. But yeah, I was quite pleased with the way that came out. And again, you know, I am being careful painting around things, but I'm not being overly careful. This painting, I think, in total took probably about 45 minutes to paint. So it is just a loose, you know, watercolor, just a nice sort of impression, really. But it does it for me. I quite like it, and I think once it's mounted up and framed up, it will look lovely. Just a heads up for anybody that might be interested. I know this will. I don't like to sort of push what I'm doing too much money-wise on my channel, but my paintings are now to raise extra money because I've closed my Patreon account because I wasn't able to devote the time to it that I needed to. And I didn't feel my members were then getting value because they were paying money, and sometimes I was going over a week without putting a video on, and that's not fair. So anyway, I've closed it and I'm looking at alternative ways of raising some money. So I will be selling all my demonstrations on eBay. There'll be a link in the bottom, so anybody's interested. But yeah, so when I saw the boat come together, I was quite pleased really. The black really makes the back then sit back more, if you know what I mean. Let me just explain that a little bit more. By having sort of obviously put the boat in the foreground there and the darker colours, it makes the background sit back a little bit more and pushes it back into the distance. So it was nice to see the boat there really because it just adds more interest and I think helped the painting a lot, especially the reflection. I just love the reflection of the boat and the water. That for me is a nice touch really. So we're almost to the end of this one. What I do at the end is take the tape off so you can see it all with a nice clean edge to the painting, which it makes a big difference, I always feel, when you take that off. Just placing in the final darks now and just really laying down final touches. Popping in the windows. Again, for the windows, it's just a little bit of cobalt blue with a bit of burnt sienna, just to indicate those. And this is just putting a little bit of dark over the where that white line is. It was a bit too bright, so I placed a bit of tint of colour over there. I'll put a bit more blue in a second over that. Yeah, now I need to paint the mast. There's a mast at the back where the what they call the mise-en-sail sits, And the mizzen sail, for those that don't know, it keeps the boat head to wind when they're out at sea fishing. Again, I wasn't very careful with this. I could have been a bit, look, it's a bit wonky, isn't it? But it all comes together in the end, because, you know, as long as you don't sort of like start tightening up halfway through a painting and you keep everything in the same vein, then it generally works. If you you know, change the way you're painting during actually painting the painting, then yeah, it can often look a bit of a mishmash. But because the whole painting is loose, then the mast really didn't matter, the mizzen mast. So don't forget to pop along to Pure Watercolour. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and I don't know, like it. That's what a thumbs up is, isn't it? A like, a thumbs up, and yeah, come back for some more and subscribe. It's good, the more the merrier. Nearly hitting 30,000 viewers now. Sorry, 30,000 subscribers, just about 100 odd subscribers short of that. So there's the finished painting. Now it's all tidied up around the edge. I think it looks okay. I'm quite pleased with it. It's that impressionistic, that nice sort of shimmery look I wanted to the water. And overall I was pretty pleased with it, really. And I'm very confident that this hot press paper is going to work out well in the future. So that just leaves me to thank you very much for watching, and hope you join me on another video very soon. I want to get out and do some plein air painting soon, so I'll be recording some of that as well. So thanks for watching, and bye for now.